Most riders use WD-40 in the laziest way possible. They hose down random parts, skip the spots that actually trap moisture, then wonder why the bike cranks weak after rain, the switches feel sticky, or a simple bolt snaps and turns a Saturday job into a bill. So let's fix that. These are 12 motorcycle uses that actually earn a place on the shelf, from wet start ignition rescue to corrosion control and cleanup. Quick warning before we get into it. This is not for brake pads, tire tread, or as a replacement for proper chain lube. And the last few tricks save parts riders usually throw away. Hack number 12 is the one that saves a lot of bikes right after a wash or a storm. You hit the starter and the engine coughs, stumbles, or just spins with no real fire because moisture has found its way around plug caps, coil tops, or exposed ignition connections. On a motorcycle, all that stuff sits out in the open, so it doesn't take much water to start trouble. A light spray of WD-40 around the outside of plug caps, coil area, and exposed ignition connectors helps push moisture out before it starts stealing spark. You don't need to soak anything, just a controlled mist, then wipe the extra off. On older bikes especially, this can be the difference between riding home and chasing a fake electrical problem for an hour. Hack 11 is battery terminal cleanup and protection. And this one matters more on bikes than people think because you don't have a lot of extra cranking power to waste. Once the terminals start growing that white or green crust, resistance goes up, voltage drops, and the starter sounds tired even when the battery is still decent. Clean the corrosion first, bolt everything back together properly, then add a very thin film of WD-40 over the outside of the terminal area to slow moisture and acid vapor from getting back in. Keep it light. You're protecting the connection, not bathing it. When the terminals stay clean, the starter hits harder and the charging system doesn't have to fight through a dirty path every time you ride. Hack 10 is weatherproofing exposed connectors. And this is one riders usually ignore until the side stand switch starts acting weird or a tail light cuts out after rain. Disconnect the plug, check for dirt or corrosion, then give the metal contact area a light mist and reconnect it. That thin film helps push out trapped moisture and slows oxidation on older connectors that don't seal like modern ones. Think about the usual problem spots: lighting connectors, switch plugs, side stand safety switch wiring, maybe older sensor plugs on bikes that live outside or near the coast. Use a little, reconnect, then wipe any excess from the housing so it doesn't collect grime. This is one of those boring jobs that prevents the annoying kind of fault, the one that disappears the second you get the bike to the shop. Hack 9 is for sticky switchgear and lock cylinders. If your key starts dragging in the ignition or the seat lock feels gritty, don't force it and don't dump half the can into the hole. Use the straw, tiny shot, then work the key gently. Same idea on kill switch pivots, starter button housings, and other small moving parts where moisture and dirt build up over time. The point here is to free the mechanism and chase out water, not leave everything slick and dripping. On commuter bikes that see rain and daily grime, this simple step keeps little controls from feeling old before the bike actually is. It also helps prevent that annoying moment where the switch looks fine from the outside but feels like it's packed with dust inside. Hack 8 is the fuel cap hinge and latch. Riders forget about it until the cap starts sticking, the hinge feels rough, or the latch stops snapping shut cleanly after months of road spray, spilled fuel, and dirt. Clean the area first so you're not pushing grit deeper into the moving parts. Then use a light spray on the hinge points and latch hardware, not all over the paint and not down where it can contaminate fuel. Open and close the cap a few times, wipe the extra, and you'll usually feel the difference right away. This is even more useful on bikes that sit outside because that little exposed mechanism sees rain, sun, and dust constantly. Keeping water out helps the bike start, but seized hardware is what turns a one-hour job into a weekend disaster. Hack 7 is for rusted bolts, and if you work on motorcycles long enough, these show up everywhere. Exhaust flange nuts, fairing screws, number plate bolts, old heat shield fasteners, battery box screws, little things that should back out in 10 seconds but instead start rounding off. Spray the exposed threads in the area where the fastener enters the part, then leave it alone for a bit. Don't rush straight to the wrench and don't lean on it like you're trying to break the tool. Crack it gently, tighten a hair if needed, then work it back and forth. Add more if it starts fighting you again. That slow approach saves a lot of snap studs, and snap studs are where cheap maintenance turns expensive fast. Hack 6 is the one chain drive riders really need to know. Axle adjusters and adjuster blocks. These parts live right in the mess: road spray, chain fling, water, grit, everything. Then one day you go to set chain slack and the adjuster won't move. The block is stuck, or the lock nut feels like it's welded on. A light pre-service spray around the exposed threads a day before adjustment helps a lot, especially on older swing arms and bikes that see winter roads. You're not trying to lube the chain with it, and you're not spraying the tire or the rotor. You're just giving those exposed metal parts a chance to free up before the wrench comes out. When the adjusters move evenly, rear wheel alignment gets easier and you're less likely to end up measuring from scratch because one side refused to budge. Hack 5 covers the pivots riders ignore because they still move, just not smoothly. Foot peg pins, side stand pivots, clutch lever pivots, brake lever pivots, center stand joints. They slowly pack up with dirt and dried grease until the movement gets stiff and notchy. Start by wiping the grime off so you're not mixing dirt into a paste. Then use a light shot where the metal actually rotates, cycle the part a few times, and wipe off what runs out. You'll feel the change right away on some bikes, especially a sticky side stand or folding peg that never snaps back cleanly. This also helps you spot worn bushings and sloppy pivots earlier, because once the dirt is gone, you can actually feel what the hardware is doing instead of guessing. Hack 4 is cable revival, but this one needs a clear line. On older bikes or on cable setups where the upper end is accessible, a small amount can help push out moisture and free a cable that feels dry or draggy after sitting. That's useful for clutch cables, choke cables, and sometimes throttle cables if the design lets you get to the housing properly. But this does not replace proper cable lube where cable lube is called for. Use it as a rescue move or moisture chaser, not as the final answer for every sticky cable. If the cable has broken strands, hard spots, or a rough pull after treatment, stop pretending it's fine and replace it. A stuck throttle is not the place to save $12. Hack 3 helps before spark plug service. On a lot of bikes, especially inline 4s and dual sports that collect dust, the plug wells get packed with grit around the base. If you just yank the plug out, that dirt can drop right toward the threads or worse, into the cylinder once the plug is free. A careful shot around the plug well edge loosens grime so you can wipe or blow it away before removal. This is a prep trick, not thread lubricant for installation. The goal is clean access. That small step can save you from grinding debris into the threads and turning a plug change into a thread repair. Hack 2 is your winter storage anti-corrosion pass. Missed bare metal brackets under the seat, spoke nipples, exposed fastener heads, toolkit hardware, and other non-friction metal parts that like to bloom with rust while the bike sits. Keep it off rotors, pads, grips, and the seat. Now the bike runs and the hardware still comes apart, so let's hit the tricks riders notice every time they walk into the garage. Hack 1 is the cleanup trick most riders end up using first: chain fling and tar on painted wheels and the swing arm. That black mess bakes on, grabs dust, and makes the whole back half of the bike look tired, even when everything else is clean. Spray WD-40 onto a cloth first when you can, then wipe the grime instead of blasting product all over the wheel. It cuts through oily buildup fast and you'll usually see the paint come back in one pass. Just stay disciplined around the rear rotor and pads because one careless spray pattern can create a brake problem where you only had a cosmetic one. If the mess is heavy, wipe, fold the rag, hit it again, and keep going until the surface feels clean instead of slick. Next one, dull chrome and stained stainless. Exhaust shields, trim pieces, exposed fastener heads, older grab rails. They all start to lose that clean look after water spots, road film, and light oxidation sit there too long. A little WD-40 on a microfiber cloth loosens that layer without getting aggressive, which matters because a lot of motorcycle trim scratches easier than riders expect. Work it in gently, buff it off, and you leave a thin barrier that helps slow fresh oxidation. This works well on bikes that live outside, but also on garage bikes that only come out on weekends because fingerprints and humidity still attack metal over time. You're not polishing for a bike show here. You're stopping minor corrosion before it turns into pitting that no wipe down can fix. Then there's black plastic and rubber, especially the under-seat panels, battery box covers, trim around the tail, and weather seals that start to look chalky before the bike is actually old. A very light wipe can darken those surfaces and help them shed moisture and grime a little better. But this is one of those spots where less works better. If it looks wet, you use too much. Put it on the cloth, not straight on the bike, then spread it thin and buff off what's left. That keeps the finish looking clean instead of greasy. It also keeps dust from sticking right back onto the part the second the bike leaves the garage. Same goes for rubber seals around storage compartments or older side covers that don't fit as snug as they used to. One more place riders forget is the little hardware that starts talking to you. Luggage latch pivots, seat latch linkages, top box hinges, garage stored ramps, helmet lock parts, any small moving piece that starts squeaking or dragging from sitting. A short, precise shot frees them up quickly, and that matters more on commuter or touring bikes where you're opening and closing stuff all the time. It's not a dramatic fix, but it's one of those details that makes the whole bike feel better cared for. Same idea goes for the toolkit under the seat. If your sockets, hex bits, pliers, and extension bars sit in a damp tray for months, they'll rust right when you finally need them at the roadside. A thin coat, then wipe off the excess, keeps the kit usable when the breakdown is real. One can handle a lot, but only if riders know the lines they never cross. Conclusion: use WD-40 on a motorcycle like a moisture chaser, cleaner, and rust blocker, and it'll save parts that usually fail from neglect, not wear. If you want more garage fixes that actually save money, subscribe, drop a comment with the strangest place WD-40 rescued your bike, and ride safe.